Hi, it's T with Teaquilts, and I am here on Wednesday, October 2nd, 2019, and it is 7 o'clock p.m. And I am going to wait a few minutes for people to come in because I didn't do a live chat setup so that people would be notified ahead of time. So we'll have to wait for people to come into the room today. I actually fell asleep right before, well, about 3 o'clock, and then I slept until like 5:30, and then my sister came over, and she wasn't supposed to stay long, but we got to talking. So I didn't get a chance to do a reminder on the chat. So we'll just wait a few minutes for people to get in. And I guess I can also pull this up on my cell phone. All right, and we got Diane 57 in here first tonight. Hey, I hope everything's going well for you. We got Remo JS here, says, good evening, Miss T and everyone. She says that she didn't get a notice. I know because I came straight on to live. I'm surprised you here then. I just came straight to live. I didn't do it, I didn't come in a little bit early so you all would get notified this time. So it's just going to give you a notification if you're not here that I am live now, if you've got your notification bell on. But normally when I schedule a live, they'll let you know that I scheduled that live as well. So this has just been one of those weird weeks. I think I'm just in the mood for catching up with sleep from my previous weeks that I've been neglecting sleep. So now I'm trying to play catch up with it. Let's see, we've got, and Diane says that she has an alarm for me, but you were already here because you were here first. You got on as soon as I came live, so you just knew to already be looking. So hopefully that's why you didn't get it. Hi Phyllis. Phyllis Garner is here. She says hi TN everyone. I put your order in the mail, so hopefully you've gotten it or you'll receive it in the next day or two. Let's see. Lost my chat. And then Joan Elkins, she says hi TN everyone. No notice yet. Yeah, I didn't set it up early. Diane says she just has an alarm set for Wednesday night. That's how she was in here. Okay. Yeah, but I did not do my part in order for you all to get notified by YouTube this time. It's my fault that you didn't get notifications. Joan Elkins, your order was put in the mail today. I saw that you responded to my email, so I know that you now know that. But I just thought I'd state it anyway since I talked about Phyllis. LC is here, says hello T and everyone from Southern California. Ethel Warren says hi T. Chicago here, hi Ethel. I hope you are able to come to the retreat. You're welcome, Phyllis. It was my pleasure. She's just thanking me for her order. And Diane Remo says that it's 8 their time. So she must be on the East Coast. And Diane just said that she shared on Facebook. Well, thank you so much. And she's friends with a lot of the quilters around too, so that's pretty good. Judy Smith says, hi TN everyone. Hi Judy, welcome to chat. June Hansen is here, says hi TN everyone. Darlene Former says greetings from Northern Virginia. Hi ladies, welcome into chat. Claudette Bettis is here. She says hi everyone from Anaheim, California. Hi Claudette. Francesca Alfino says hello to everyone. She's in St. Louis. Sandra Thompson says hello. Sandra from Corpus Christi, Texas. Hi, Sandra. June Billings is here. Says hi to everyone. And we also have Deborah Richards says hello to everyone from Poplarville, Mississippi. Welcome, ladies. And then we also have Teresa Davison. She says hi to everyone. Hi, Teresa. And she's Teresa without the H. I don't even have an agenda today. I'm coming over here because it's my obligatory Wednesday live chat, and I do like them. So I have nothing to talk about because I talked to you all last week, and I did piece. This is that Kimberbell. I always show it because somebody's asking me, so it's always in a video. But it's the Kimberbell Hello Sunshine, and I'm doing, you can do this in regular applique, or you can do it in machine embroidery. I bought the machine embroidery version of this, and I had to piece that top to get it off of my wall so that I could work on the, what was I working on? The spider web quilt, so that I could bring you part 2 of the spider web quilt. So I will be uploading that and getting that out hopefully tomorrow. So that's why that's pieced, and I'll just show you the quilt there. And that's about all of it that you can see. It's not very big, so I kind of got my my projects that I'm working on kind of stored over there. After the video went live, I actually been doing orders. And some people, even locally here in St. Louis, did not understand the decals when I was selling them. So they actually, I was doing a lot of order filling for decals and for those machine LED lights that I talked about in the last video. So I actually ran out of the machine LED lights and decided to go ahead and place another order for those as well, so that I could have a couple extra, and then I had even sold some of those that I ordered. So I've been filling orders. I've taken the dog to the vet, to the groomer, and what else? To the groomer, to the vet. So I just been busy with like appointment type things. So I haven't done any sewing other than getting that piece so that I could go ahead and record the second part of the spiderweb quilt. It's not in order of the videos that I need to upload, but I wanted to put those spiderweb parts, part 1 and 2, together instead of having a big space of months in between them. So that's why I did that. And yeah, so let me go ahead and go back and see who has come in to chat. And that was the reason why I talked about the quote, is because I read June Hansen's note, and then I can't see. SK Hartling says, I am making 10 of your device holders as gifts for my quilt retreat next week. I'm excited to give them. Awesome, because sometimes people forget to bring something to prop their phone up, and at a retreat is the perfect place to give one of these device stands. I actually gave them to the retreaters last year that came to the Teaquilts retreat last year. That's when I actually made the video. Shakita Pearson is here. She says, hi T and everyone. Hi Shakita, welcome. Trey Young is here. She says, hi all, hope everyone is well. Eric Oda is here. He says, hey, 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 in his normal Eric tone. And Diane says she's not better just finishing a breathing treatment. I told you, girl, you got to make sure you take care of yourself while you're being the caregiver for other people. We tend to neglect ourselves, so just be cautious of that. Remo is reminding everybody to please hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Darlene says, I need to take my kitty to the vet. Yeah, it was just an annual checkup. And, you know, in order to take them to the groomer, you got to make sure, not only for the pet's sake, but the groomers won't take them either if you don't keep them up on their shots. But I like to keep her up on her shots. And something weird for me, I didn't know that, because I don't own a dog, but I'm the one that does all of the care, like the grooming and the vet for my daughter's dog, because I want to make sure that it's done, because I'm the dog sitter when she goes out of town, and so I want to make sure that things are on the up and up. So I've taken over care of the dog in that sense. So I didn't know that dogs could get flu shots, and so I got her a flu shot booster, and I got to go back and get the actual flu shot in a couple, about 3 weeks. So, yeah, that was kind of weird. I didn't know that. But I have seen or heard her coughing like in the winter months, and I'm wondering, okay, maybe this will help, and maybe she won't get a cold or anything during the winter months, because she's a little bitty thing. So, Trisha Tello says, hi all, and hi T and everyone, not hi all. Hi T and everyone. Watching from Southern California. Welcome, Trisha. Kathy Thomas is here, says hi T and everybody. Janet Mackerel says hi T and quilters. Welcome. June Billings says, broke the mold, huh? Diane says, would everyone please share? Some may not have gotten notices. Thanks. Well, thank you. We've got 43 people that I'm seeing in the room. I don't know what you all are seeing. We got Vivian Calvi here. She says, hi, T. Hi, Vivian. Welcome to chat. June said that she was in the hospital with that and still doing breathing treatments for better soon. I'm hoping you all are going to be okay. Pamela Tabor says, hello, T and everyone. And they're asking about Diane's husband. Francesca says, can't believe it's October and 90 degrees. Yes, Lord. It was so hot this week. It started out a little cooler in the morning some days, and then it just gets right back up into the 90s. And Joan says it's still 90s where she is. Cleo Preston is here saying hello to everyone. Hi, Cleo. Welcome to the chat. Remo say he is your dog. He just doesn't live with you. I know, I have sons. Yes, Lord, because they don't do these dogs right. I can't stand a smelly dog, and I want to make sure that she got all her vet appointments in. So I keep asking questions and I don't get the right answers, and I just said, you know what, I'll make the next appointment. I'll take her. I do all of that. So I want to make sure things are on the up and up. June says in Iowa it has been in the mid 40s and rainy. Yuck. Oh no, we don't want that. We had that during our quilt show week. That was not fun. Jacqueline Devon says, good evening, T. It's Jacqueline from Minnesota. Welcome. Pamela had to pop out for a minute. Judy is here. Says, hi, T&T Quilters. It's hot in Oklahoma, too. Breaking records. Yeah, we had one day where we broke records. They use our Lambert Airport for the St. Louis area. So we broke one last week as well. Let's see. Diane says that her husband is better. Thank you for asking. He went to work this week. Oh my God. But knowing him, I've met him. I could see him just jumping right back in. Darlene says, any quilters from the DMV heading to the Sewing and Quilting Expo in Fredericksburg this weekend? Vivian says, T, can you tell us about your display board in the other room? In what other room? What display board? Oh, if you're talking about the rolling shade where I was at when I was doing the birthday blocks, I have a video on how I made the rolling shade. So just search Teaquilts display. Just type Teaquilts and display. And then you should get a list, because I've shown you how I've made like a display board from using craft foam art board that you can get at the dollar store, Or you can use like recycled political signs. That's what I mostly use. I don't even buy them. I just use the recycled political signs. And then I also have shown you how to make one with a roller shade. And this one right here is the same way as the one that I used, the political shades, except that I used a full piece of room insulation. It's that pink foam insulation. I got it at the hardware store. It's just bigger. And then we bolted it into the bolts in the wall with those yo-yos right there. So where you see yo-yos is where we bolted into the wall. And I just used that to cover up the hardware. But I have at least 2 videos on design walls. June says, you get better too. I am doing better, but I get tired real easy. She's talking to Diane. Rhonda Barlow is here. She says, hello, T and everyone. Hi, Rhonda. Welcome. Marjorie Blackwell says, hello, everyone. 63 degrees at Lake Michigan. Wow. See, that's why I won't move any further north. I don't want to be, I don't like St. Louis weather either, because we can have where we need a winter coat one day and then we'll be in shorts the next day and a jacket after that. So we bounce around all the time here. I just needed just a little bit warmer, so just a tad south, but not a whole lot. And Eric even saying that it's cool in LA. Myra Nagy says, hi, it was foggy here in Denver. Now it's hot. Hi, Myra. Welcome to the chat. I don't remember seeing your name. Appreciate you stopping in. And Remo says, yes to going to the Quilt Expo on Friday, to the question that was previously asked. Jacqueline says, hi, T. It's Tyra. Okay. My mom, Jacqueline, is at work. Anyway, just wanted to say hi from Andover, Minnesota. Thank you so much for clarifying that. She also says, got a lot of rain down here as well. Cleo says, Houston has been in the 99 every day waiting on a cool front. Maybe you guys can bring it in. You have to talk to the people in Michigan. Trivia Henderson is here saying hi to everybody. Bonita Nan says, hello, Miss T and everyone. Welcome to chat, ladies. Darlene says to Remo, I am thinking about going tomorrow, so you all should try to meet up. That would be awesome. No, she's going tomorrow, which is Thursday, and Remo is going on Friday. Eric says, Houston is funny. It could be 103 one day and the next day it could be 30. Wow. Deborah says, well, I can tell y'all it's hot as hell in South Mississippi. I've been hearing people, most of the people, my friends that I know of, they are in New Orleans. And so they were talking about how hot it was there. So I know it's hot further south. Further south, not further. Further south. Cool Gal is here. She says, hi, T from Maryland. Joni Foot says hi to everyone. Bonita says it's been in the high 90s in North Carolina. Wow. Beverly Seaball is here. She says, hello. Hi, Beverly. Welcome to live chat. Appreciate you stopping in. Darlene saying that it was 94 degrees here in Northern Virginia. Can't stand the humidity. So Sharon says, my husband and I are going to Cape Girardeau this weekend for his high school reunion. Awesome. And says, we'll be passing through St. Louis. I'll wave at you as we go through. That's pretty cool. I hope you, if you're on highway, I don't know which highway you're coming in on. If you're doing 70, you should be on 70, I'm thinking. There's a quilt shop off of Highway 70 called Also Personal in St. Peters, Missouri, or is it O'Fallon? It might be O'Fallon, Missouri. You might want to stop there if your husband is willing. It's a good stop. Um, let's see. I lost my place, guys. You know that happens every once in a while. um, okay, Tyra, was it Tyra that I'm at? Hold on, let me see. What's the weather down there? Let's see. I can check my watch for my area right now. It is 91 degrees and it is 7:21 p.m. It was hot. I went outside and started sweating, and it's been like that, off. We had our quilt show last week. We had some rain for a day or two, and then it's been hot in the 90s ever since. In the mornings, it might be cool, but by noon or earlier, it's back over 90. Tiffany from Tiffany's Quilting Life is here. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome. She's saying hi to everyone. Deborah says that she's originally from New Orleans. Beverly says, love watching your channel. Thank you so much, Beverly. I appreciate that. And for those of you that are just coming in, I don't have an agenda today. I'm just here talking. I'm actually pinning some of the pieces from my Christmas quilt that I need to get pieced because I still haven't done that. My goal is to have this quilt done by Christmas so I can put it on my bed, hopefully. So that's what I'm hoping to do some today. But who knows? I probably won't do a thing. Yeah, so if you're coming from, I think she said Sandy was her name, or let me go back and make sure because I don't want to call you the wrong name. Sharon. Sorry about that, Sharon. If you're coming out 70, you're going to pass up Also Personal, and it's right off the highway. Now, they do have a little bit of construction at the highway, but you can get off and on there. But you'll love it. Shut up, Eric. See, I knew somebody was going to come for me. Further forth. I think I said further south, but ain't no telling. I told you, if you all weren't in here earlier, I accidentally fell asleep. So I was asleep. And then my sister rang the doorbell and woke me up. But we did talk for an hour. That's why you didn't get notifications today. June says, I just got a notice that you were on live. What quilt is that? It shows it's quilted like a crazy quilt. Pretty. It shows like it's quilted like a crazy quilt. I don't know which quilt you're talking about. This quilt over here, June. And it'll take a minute for June to see my comment. Oh, I've already read that. That's why it doesn't make sense. T, what's the basic quilting rules should I look at? Okay. This is my thing. It depends on the style of quilting that you're wanting to quilt. So if you're trying to do a piece block, you need to make sure that you know where your 1/4 inch seams are. If you are trying to make string quilts or crazy quilts, then I tend to start beginners with those type of quilts because you don't have to absolutely be perfect with your 1/4 inch seam until you're actually sewing those blocks together. And even still, when you're sewing the blocks together, if you're off a little bit, it's not quite as critical. But if you are trying to sew so that you can make like a particular block in a particular size and you're going to repeat that block over and over, and then you want to do something like put those together either all together or with sashing or with some kind of other piece element, it could be an alternate block, you need to know what your 1/4 inch seam is. Now, there are times when you need to know what your 1/4 inch seam is, which is what I use most of the times. There may be other times when you may need to use a scant 1/4 inch seam, which means that you're sewing like 1 or 2 threads short of a 1/4 inch. And I'll talk about that in a second. And then also when to have freeform quilting, because it's just relaxing when you don't have to worry about a 1/4 inch seam when it's not absolutely necessary. So not worrying about the 1/4 inch seam, again, that's when I'm doing my strings or crumbs. I can just sit here, watch television, and I don't have to worry about whether my seams are going to be perfect or not. Now, if I'm working on some quilts that don't have a lot of pieces, like say the churn dash block doesn't have a lot of pieces to me, especially if you're making a block big, you got more room that you can make things fit. So you don't have to worry as much. I use a 1/4 inch seam. Now, if I'm making a block like 5440 or Fight, where it's got a whole lot of different elements coming together, a whole lot of pieces, any block with a lot of pieces, then I might use a scant 1/4 inch seam depending on how big I'm making that block and how many pieces are in that block. And that's just something that I just automatically do in my discretion. I don't like plan it out to say I'm going to use a 1/4 inch. I just know, oh, okay, this block's got a lot of pieces in it, so I'll make it a little smaller. So I would say I'm not a person that say you should follow all the rules, but eventually you're going to need to know when you need to use, when a 1/4 inch seam doesn't matter, when you need to use a 1/4 inch seam, and when you need to use a scant 1/4 inch seam, because that's important, especially if you're going to get into block swaps. A lot of people have like swap groups where they're like sending things across the country, and nobody wants to receive a block if you're in that type of a group that won't fit with the plan. So that would be one rule that I would look at. Second rule, a lot of the your mainstream quilters, we like quilt shop quality fabric. Now that doesn't mean that you can't buy quilt fabric from Joann's. That means you need to know the difference between a piece of cheap cloth and a piece of cloth that is not cheap feeling, because there is differences in the material that you can buy. So I never tell somebody, especially a beginner, don't buy fabric at Joann's. I want everybody to quilt, so I don't get into the rule of never buying any fabric from Joann's. Just be selective in the fabrics that you buy from Joann's. That would be my rule number 2, especially if you're going to be getting into other groups with people and you may end up wanting to swap out some fabric so that you can have, maybe somebody got a piece that you want or need, and then you can swap something back with them so that it's of some kind of caliber of quality. A lot of quilters prefer quilt shop quality fabrics. I'm not saying that you have to go buy only quilt shop quality fabrics. I would say some tools as far as having rules. I think that you need to make sure that you have a rotary cutter that you're comfortable with, a decent sized mat board. If you're only going to buy one mat, I would recommend getting like the 24, whatever that 24 inch by 36 inch, so that way you can cut off of fabric that's cut 44 inches wide only with that one fold, so you don't have to do a lot of folds, because the more you fold fabric as a beginner, the more chance you have of those pieces not coming out correct. And I guess that would be my next rule number 3. When it matters, you need to know how to cut properly. Now, if you're doing stream blocks or crazy crumb blocks, then you don't have to worry about that. It doesn't matter. But when you're doing piece blocks where you want things to match up, then you need to make sure that you're cutting accurate. And I think one time I even had somebody ask me in the comment section, how can they check to make sure that they're sewing a 1/4 inch because their blocks are not coming out the right size. So I wrote to them and told them that to cut 3 pieces of fabric, cut them 3 pieces of fabric, each one of them 1.5 by 3.5, and I told them small sizes so that you're not wasting a lot of fabric. And then I told them to sew all 3 of those pieces together on the long edge. So when they get through, that square, when you sew it together, should end up being 3.5 inches square. If that square isn't 3.5 inches, then you need to see if your seam allowance. So I would fold my piece back over. Say like I got this piece here, And I would take my ruler and I would measure the seams to make sure that I have my 1/4 inch seam. If you don't have your 1/4 inch seam, then you know that it's your piecing that's the problem. If you have a 1/4 inch seam and your block is still short or too big, then you know that your cutting is the problem. And so, a lot of people recommend only cutting with one style of rulers. Some people believe in that. I have so many different rulers, I just pick up a ruler and cut. But what I do make sure is that whatever line I'm using on my ruler, that line is up on the edge of my material. It's not off the material, because if I cut off the material, it's going to be a little bit too sharp. So those are some things that you can start with rules, as far as rules of quilting. And I don't really get into a lot of rules, because in quilt making, most rules can be broken and you can be real successful. And that's how you learn a lot in quilt making. And that's why a lot of times I come on, I know that everything that I do, there's like 5 or 6 different ways that you can do that. It's like somebody telling you there's only one way to make a half square triangle, when in true essence there's about 50 different ways you can make a half square triangle. Sounds real crazy, but it is. You got all of your different ways that you can paper piece, all of your different ways that you can rotary cut. And so, yeah, you can even do templates. So there are so many different ways to get to the same end goal. So just have fun. My phone turned, so that means I lost my position again. Let me just go back and make sure, because I know I skipped some questions or people coming in. So let me go back and welcome those people to the chat. We have Jennifer J has came in. She says, hi, T from Auburn, Washington. Hi, Jennifer. And Shriver was having issues with being frozen, but I'm still moving. So hopefully it's okay now. We got Sandra Ingstrom. She says, hi from Nashville. Hi, Sandra. Eric wants to know who else is working on Christmas projects. Remo says, like trying different machines for sewing, quilting. Also try mid-arm or long arm. Yeah, I do have, especially when I didn't have my long arm, I had 3 different sewing machines set up to do different things. I always have a machine set up that I like to piece on, and there is no perfect machine for piecing. What I did was, out of whatever supply that I had, I checked to make sure which one I like the piecing on the best. And so that's the one that I set up for piecing. It used to be my Singer XL 1000. Now I'm using my Baby Lock Elagio, and these are all old machines, so it doesn't matter what machine. And then I also have a machine set up for machine embroidery, which is my Baby Lock Elissimo. I haven't even sewn, but the first day or two have I ever sewn any of the regular stitches on here, just mostly machine embroidery. And I'm having sinus issues, so I'm on my meds, but it's trying to attack me still. The weather is changing. And then I also had another machine before I got my long arm. I had another machine that was always set up for machine quilting. So that way I didn't have to go changing feet and things. All I had to do was take my piecing foot down, and I had my other one that was set for free motion quilting sitting underneath, and I would just pull it up on top. So I do use different machines for different techniques. Got people still talking about the weather. And Sandra Thompson wants to know, have I started the birthday quilt? No, I will start making a plan with that probably after Christmas, because I will be taking it in February to my quilt retreat, where I got more room to lay it out, because I'm going to need a big space. It's either too hot to use my deck, or the wind will blow and all the fabric starts flying all over the yard. So I gave up on trying to do it outside on the deck. So I'm waiting on my retreat to start working on that. I do plan to have it all the way done so that it will be in my year 2021 quilt show. We have a quilt show every other year. Nana's house says, seeing you from North Carolina. Welcome. Thank you so much. June says she would say, no, it was green and natural. If you just show us a quilt, none of that's in your room. Are you talking about when I just held this up? This is the Christmas sew-along quilt. I'm just pinning some pieces right now. I haven't even sewn a stitch on it today. um, you all have good questions, so I end up coming into chat and I don't do any actual sewing. She said, Demario says, hi, Miss T. This is Demario. Last time I sent the block, I was 6. Now I am 7. Yes, I do remember. And I still have one of your, somebody's block is up there. I'm not sure if it's Demario's. It's one of the crazy blocks. It was a string block. Some of them went into the quilts already. So I still got a couple extra blocks that I didn't get to assign out. But thank you so much for watching us. You're with your grandma, I think, or is it your mom? I'm not sure. Darlene says, sorry, I was asking about rulers used to quilt a sandwich quilt. It depends, because you know they now sell the rulers that you have to buy an adapter for your sewing machine if you want to use like the long arm rulers on your sit down sewing machines. I don't have those. I do have long arm quilting rulers, and they are in the long arm room, and I'm not in there. But I do think everybody needs to have a straight grid ruler. I also like to have some circles, because you can use the circles to do like all kind of, you can do half circles as well. You can do like ovals with the circles, if just depending on how you lay it on your fabric. And then I also like the Lola's. It's the angel. And so I like that ruler as well. Those are the ones that I use the most. Diane says her quilting rules are cut straight. So 1/4 inch seam finish is better than finish. Finished is better than not finished, maybe. I don't know. Deborah says, I'm freezing up terrible. Missing half of what y'all saying. I'm going to catch up next week. Have a great evening. Bye, Deborah. I'm not freezing here, so it must be something going on in her area. I haven't seen it freezing. Yes, Eric, I think Diane meant finish is better than perfect. And I'm just reading the chat because I see some people are answering questions before I get there. So I'm just going past those because I basically have said the same thing. And Darlene is specifically looking for a ruler to use for free motion on a Juki. Any thoughts here? And again, you're going to need a special foot. If you're trying to do ruler work on a sit-down sewing machine, you have to have the appropriate foot. You just need a hopper foot that's just thicker like it is on a long arm. And I guess somebody must have asked about a quilt to use for square up. I tend to use some kind of, like Diane was saying, she used a 24 by 24 to square her quilts up. And I don't even have to go that big. I do have a 20, I think it's a 20-inch square up ruler by OmniGrid. I'm not sure. I have to check the brand. But I don't use that. I just use my 12.5-inch square. I find that that's enough. I get my corners squared up, and then I get my sides to meet up with my corners, so that way it's not cattywampus when I'm done. Tyra says, I just followed you on Instagram. Thank you. I need to do more Instagram stuff. I don't do a whole lot with Instagram. And the reason why I probably don't use Instagram a lot is because most things that I'm working on, I will end up making a video on. Except maybe I should put this on Instagram because I didn't do a video on this. I did a video on what was the technique I did? Oh, how to make the continuous prairie points. I did do that, so it'll be a video coming up on that. But I did not do a video on this quilt because it is a for purchase pattern per se. Tiffany says, Darlene, there is a Westerly ruler set for beginners. Look it up. They even sell a ruler foot for the Juki. I have heard of them. I have not used those type of rulers. Even though they make it look so simple, it still look like it's going to be hard to make all that stuff match up. And Eric says that he put the Fiskars ruler up next to the Creative Grid rulers, and the one marks were not the same. Says no tall rulers measure the same. That's good to know. And Eric also says that he has his favorite piecing machine. He don't use long arm rulers. They are too thick for a home machine. And don't use long arm rulers is what he's saying. They are too thick for the home machine. So I think you have to, I don't know if you can use long arm rulers if you get the new foot or not, but if he's saying that, he must know. So I have no idea because I don't do any free motion quilting on my home machines. Shakita says she's not working on Christmas projects only if they'll be done by the year 2020, not this year. Beverly says, is a serger good for any quilting? I have, I made like a quilt where it was like a quilt as you go, and I kind of used my serger because I was sewing through. I had made strips of cotton material, and then I had strips of batting as well. And so I just put the three pieces together, and then I used my serger to go all the way around to hold the pieces, the first three pieces. And then when I went to the next set, I did the same thing, sewed the serger all the way around, and then I used my serger to seam those two pieces together. So I have used it to do stuff like that, but I haven't really used the serger a lot for quilting. And I can't even remember what I did with the seams. Maybe I put another backing on it and just stitched in the ditch. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. My serger hasn't seen the light of day probably in 20 years. Which is sad. I got two of them. And Eric says that he's seen people do piecing on a serger but not the quilting. June says, Darling Midnight Quilter has rulers for home machines. Vicki Lemire's here. Hi, Vicki. Welcome to the chat. Tiffany says, only a few work to use on sit-down machines. That's why I suggest the Westerly set because they can be used sit-down, quilting, or on the long arm. But the Dusty Furrow rulers are made for sit-down only. Now, Dusty Furrow used to make rulers that were for the long arm because that's how they made their money when he first got into long arm quilting. And then in the past 2 or 3 years, he and his wife has seen that the industry has switched to making the rulers for the sit-down machine. So him and his wife, Stephanie, they switched over. June says it could have been if it was all done and quilted. All right, Trey, thank you so much. I see your comment. And Eric says that he used Dusty Farrell's rulers on his long arm. And I have like maybe 5 of his rulers. I bought like a set of rulers. And I just don't, I haven't gotten comfortable enough to use them all. But I do have some of them I probably used once or twice. Claudette says, I am working on my Christmas shaded 4-patch. I feel like I'm going to be sewing these things forever. Bonita says, I can't remember, when did you hit 10,000 subscribers? I think it happened last week. No, it happened like the week before the quilt show, like the end of September, somewhere around there. I can't remember. It's been like a week or two. So thank you so much, guys, for supporting my channel. So, and I will have to do a video for subscribers. I'll do a drawing for that. I'll do probably Amazon gift things again since it went well last time. Remo says, I just finished a quilt for my son. It ended up being king size. I quilted some with Angela Walters rulers. I like her rulers. I bought, what was it? I can't remember which. I bought 2. I can't remember which ones I got now, but I really like those, and they make really neat designs. I used one in a border. It was really pretty. And Kathy says she's freezing up too. I'm trying to see, and I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to make sure, but it's still moving. I'm just gonna take a break here out of chats. They're still talking about like a lot of rulers and stuff, so it's a lot of repeat in the comments there. But I will talk a little bit about retreat. I have been working in the past week on retreat, so I've been doing more packaging of orders, making orders. Sometimes I had to make people's designs from scratch because they had specific things that they wanted. So I've been working on that. But I also been doing some desk work trying to get this one last place that I'm trying to get, which I think is the one we're going to have to go with because of our group size, to give me an actual number on retreat. And so I was promised last week that this number would come on Monday, and then Monday came and I got a note saying that she was on vacation on Monday. She'll get back with me on Tuesday. So then Tuesday came, and then I got another note saying I need to talk to my boss about what it is that you want. And so hopefully I can give you some numbers on Thursday. So I still don't have some places can't give me a number until I give them a total number of people coming. So I didn't even go back to them because 2 of those places would only accommodate up to, well, one of them was up to 8 and one was up to 10. So they couldn't even accommodate our group at all. And then I had some other places that we just didn't fit with that particular place. One place, it was a nice place, but they had the sewing in one area, the quilting in a different building. No, the sewing was in one building. You stayed, your lodging was in another building, and then where we ate was in a third building. And so I didn't like that because if we got somebody that can't walk, and the where you go to eat, the place where we sew and where we would stay were fairly close, but if you have difficulty walking, then that could be a problem as well. And then the place where we ate was super far away, and then they had golf carts that you could rent, but then that was going to be more money per day. It was like $60 or something, or some odd number per day to rent a golf cart, and then I've got to drive back and forth to take people. So it was just a little bit too much for our group, so I decided not to go with that place. So I'm checking out this last place. And the difficulties that we're having is this last place, you have to purchase all of your meals there. And they're going to be 2 days where we are not in the facility. we'll be doing shop hops. And so and then I also like to have one formal dinner out, not necessarily dress up formal, but I like to go out and have them serve us food instead of us eating buffet food. So that's normally my Friday night. And so I'm trying to like not have us pay for 2 lunches and 1 dinner. And so that's the kind of things that we are trying to negotiate a price on. So she's got to talk to her supervisor, her boss, about that. So I don't know. It's and then when we stayed in, when we did the other place before, when we did the Missouri Star area, I think we spent $350 on retreat, and that only included breakfast. So it didn't include the meal. So I'm just trying to wait and see what kind of price are they going to give us, because we also have to do meals. So I'm seeing on that. So I'm still waiting. I don't have the information that I have. Again, if you signed up for a retreat and you did not fill out the form so that I know what your email address is, please either fill that form out, take a picture of it, and then shoot me an email at Teaquilts to teaquilts@teaquilts.com. So that way, when I do finally get the final tally for what that is, I'm sending it to that group first. Then I will go and make a flyer and probably put it into my Facebook group and see if anybody over there that missed the sign up, that is not watching on YouTube, if they missed the sign up and are interested in going on a retreat. So I have, I think, like 12 or 13 people that are on the list, but I'm missing some people that said last time that they were going to come this time. So I'll have to double check with them. So we could have, my goal is not trying to go over 20. So that's what I'm trying to keep it as. So it's more of a manageable group. So that's kind of where I am with retreat. I have not been ignoring it. I'm actually working on it, but some things are out of my control. And we needed like maybe 30 people in order for me to use the Marriott Hotel where I could get that meeting room for free. So we didn't quite have the 30, and I'm not really trying to go over 20. So they do have a minimum number, so that when you stay when I use the Marriott, because you're getting so many rooms, so they're basing you on getting a double room. So I needed to at least be able to purchase 15 hotel rooms in order to have our retreat there. So I didn't quite meet that requirement. So I had to knock that one off my list. So if you all got any other questions about retreat that I haven't answered, I think I can only tell you what I know. My goal for a retreat is people arriving on Tuesdays. Your first meal at this place is what I'm trying to get, is we can start coming at noon, but because people are going to be traveling in, some people may need to be picked up from the airport. I was trying to make the first meal not until dinner time. So if you get there early, there's plenty of places in the neighborhood that you can go to and get lunch out. And then on Wednesday, we'll stay at the retreat center the entire day so people can settle in. And then on Thursday and Friday, we're going to do shop hops. And then we'll come back. We'll eat breakfast and dinner at the retreat center on Thursday. On Friday, we'll eat breakfast at the retreat center, go shop hopping. And then Friday will also be our dinner out time, our formal dinner. I think that worked very well last time. We ate out and got a nice meal. And that one, when we eat out, you just pay your own meal. And then on Saturday, we'll spend the entire day at the retreat center. And on Sunday, we can start packing up after breakfast. We'll have a meeting after breakfast, talk about anything we might want to change, or we'll do pictures, show and tell, that type of stuff. And I might end up doing, I haven't decided yet, but I might end up doing like a stack and whack class. So I'll have people bring enough fabric yardage, or I'll do that on Saturday so you can go buy fabric if you don't bring it. But I might end up doing like a stack and whack, or what you would call the one block wonder, however you want to put yours together. We may do that type of a class at the retreat center. So I'm sure I'm going to be missing some people comments. But I'm going to just skip some. So if you got new comments, just go ahead and put them down. Somebody was saying, let's do a virtual retreat. That would be weird. I know Bonnie Hunter does like her quilt cams or something, where she's just off quilting and people are watching. I don't know if I would get that type of a response, though. Sheila says, I sure hope I can join your retreat next year. Yeah, and that's what I'm really trying to get the final price, because I know a lot of people have not signed up because they're waiting for us to actually get that actual price, because some people can't blindly sign up for something if they don't know the price. So Sandra says, T, today I went to class for the basic X or the X block rulers. I have. You ever use them? Yes, I have a video on that as well. You can search it by X blocks, because that's the ruler that I had when I first started, and they're basically the same, except that now that company was sold. The lady who came out with the X block ruler sold it to someone else, and what they did was they took it and started made the rulers to fit the pre-cut size. When I have my X block rulers, I can use 3 different sizes of squares or strips to make them depending on how I want to do my cutting. And so now they're using the pre-cut, so you can use like your jelly roll strips and things like that, but it's basically the same. So yes, I have probably a couple of videos about that. I'm not sure, but you can Google that and see what I've done with it. I know I've talked about it at least in a live. I'm not sure if it'll come up that way, but I could have sworn that I have done at least one video with the X block ruler. I'm hoping, because it's part of one of my lectures that I talk about the X block rulers, and it's weird because it's one of those things that's been out for a long time, but people even bought the ruler, but nobody is making the quilts from it. So I really try to get people to use that ruler. Benita, you're out of luck, girl. She says, how far will Missouri Star Quilt Company be from the retreat center? About 4 or 5 hour drive. So that's how far we are from Missouri Star. Yeah, and I didn't, and the reason why I didn't go back to Missouri Star is because when I did the first retreat, I had a lot of people saying that they were going to come, and so I thought maybe we would get the 30 people. And in order to get a good spot, we were in a room that slept 8, and then on the outside of that room was where we were sewing and crafting. And then she gave us another spot so that we could do our food that we really didn't pay for, because nobody had scheduled it. And so I didn't want to do that again, because if we had more people, we weren't going to fit. So we definitely got more than 8, but we don't have the 30 that's required to go into the other area. That they have like this same company, Home in Hamilton, is a B&B. It's a bed and breakfast, and they also have built a retreat center, but it holds 60 quilters. But I worked with her, and she said she was willing to do it if I could get 30 quilters to open it up, but I couldn't get that many quilters. So, and I don't know if I want to organize 30 quilters right now. So that won't work, Benita. Unless you do a whole day trip out, you could. Leave early in the morning, get there when they open, and then shop all day and drive back. We have done such things, have gone up for a day and come back. Virgie is here. Hi, Virgie. She says, hi, T and everyone. Better late than never. And Eric says the X block, I think we only did the live. Okay, because I do remember talking about it, because I had those quilts out, and maybe that's what it was. And then I actually went and showed everybody. So if if you Google it and can't find it, Teaquilts X block, just comment in any video and let me know, and I'll try to see if I can find it, because I'll know the quilt when I see the photo. My brother just popped in here. I said, I'm here, better late than never. He must have been outside working. He's saying hello to everyone. And then Bonita says, I may stay a little longer and make the trip overnight. And, you know, if you're thinking about doing that, that's something that I might be able to work with you with, Bonita, as well. So when we get the other stuff finalized, then I can I'll work on that with you. So just remind me, because I'll forget. But I wouldn't mind going if we did an overnight and then came back so you all can get to the airport. So we'll figure that out. Because I think you're flying in, right, Bonita? There is an airport in Kansas City. This is the problem with Missouri Star. It's not by an airport. It's not like right by an airport. It's like maybe an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away from the airport, which if you're doing Uber or any type of public transportation, it can get to be very costly for that. So I think when Claudette came, I picked her up from the airport, so I had to go like kind of out of my way to go get her and then come back. But I did that because I didn't want her stranded out at the airport. And I also don't like for visitors that I'm bringing into an area to be depending on Uber drivers or Lyft drivers. I want you to feel comfortable in whatever transportation. And there was no shuttle from the airport to Missouri Star, which is what I think they should do. One of those shuttle companies should be shuttling people from the airport to Missouri Star. That's what really should happen. But I just hate for people to get into an Uber. Slowing down Joe says, late, but I made it here. Welcome. Okay, so most people are saying that I did a live for the X block. So if it doesn't come up in a search on YouTube, then just let me know and I'll try to go find it. Eric says it's an hour outside of Kansas City. You can't do Uber there because it's too far. Yeah. So and I wouldn't want you to do it anyway. And then Bonita says I'll probably rent a car. So yeah. So, you know, and I'll get more details in, because even when we do the shop hop, it just depends on how many of my local quilters actually sign up. I know I got one. And then like some people will drive in, and so they also have their car. So sometimes when we're going shop hopping, it's just a matter of us carpooling. So sometimes you may not even need a car. So yeah, but we'll figure all of that out. Eric says he got stuck at the airport in Kansas City and ended up renting a car to go to Missouri Star Quilt Company. That's funny. So if you all don't have, let me make sure. Tiffany says I'm gonna take some congestion meds and get dressed and go to my daughter's and take her the infinity scarf I made today in my live. I hope she likes it. I made it while sick. She's better. Alrighty. So I don't think I see any more questions. Eric says I just get a van and pack everyone in, but no backseat drivers. Yeah. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. But so yeah, that's what's the hold up on the retreat. So I'm hoping that I can get that information in the next few days. Most definitely I can get her information, then I can kind of decipher, because I need to check and make sure that what I'm thinking we should be paying is what they're charging us for, and make sure that those numbers are right, because once I tell you all a price, I can't come back and say you know, it was miscalculated, is really this price. Because I don't like coming back to people asking for more money once I've told you what a cost is. And I don't want to be given costs for up to 20 people either on my behalf. So I'm trying to make sure that we get these numbers right. And it seems like she's already having difficulty with doing what I want her to do. So I'm like, if we're not in a facility all day, I don't think we should pay for lunch if we're not there to eat the lunch. So yeah, but we'll see. So that's all I have for today. Let me check this chat one more time just to make sure. And the dates for retreat have been set. It's actually, I don't have it in front of me. I don't even have a calendar in here. I don't even have a business card with my calendar on the back in here. Let me see if I can pull up a calendar on my phone. I'm not sure. I mean, on my watch. I can pull it up on my phone. Hold on. Because I don't want to give you the wrong dates. We're going to be retreating from Tuesday, June 16th, and leaving on Sunday, June 21st. And we can't go to the retreat center until noon on Tuesday. And then I'll probably go an hour or so earlier just so I can make sure that everything is set up for us. So those are the dates, and those dates are available at this facility. We're just trying to fine tune the price. So the retreat is June 16th through the 21st, 2020. And I make it the 5 days because some people travel in 5 days. We talked about it at the last retreat. Like I said, we have like a little brief meeting afterwards, and we talk about things that work and didn't work. And everything actually worked. The people there were all happy with everything that I had done for them. And they also wanted to keep the 5 days because they said if somebody is driving 8 hours to come to retreat, and then you just do a weekend and they have to turn around and go back, you know, just 2 nights, that it was too much of a drive. But they liked the fact that we had the 5 days and that they had time to really nestle in. And even if they drove on the shop hop days, the fact that we didn't go anywhere on Saturday, they were able to recoup and get ready for their Sunday drive back home. So I had 3 people. 2 people drove together from Ohio, which was 8 hours, from Cincinnati area, I think. And then we also had 1 person from a part of Alabama that came, and that was another 8-hour ride. So I just want to give those people that are driving adequate time to get here. Let me go back into chat, make sure nothing else is there. All right, so that looks like it is it. So yeah, so that'll be it for this week's chat. We went over about 10 minutes, but that's okay. And if you all got any questions about retreat, if people are still interested in retreat, just know that there's still a possibility that you can go. I'm just waiting on that final information. I just am confirming for the number of people that we are having, but I have a feeling that this facility is pretty large. I have a feeling that if we need more rooms, that we can get more rooms. So I will see you all next week in the live. Hopefully have something a little bit more structured, but who knows? I just may come in here as I am. So good night, everybody. Talk to you later.